Okay, guys, in this video, I thought I'd talk about Einstein, God, time dilation, and how I think it all fits together. Because one of the main things with atheists is that they say that what how was God created, and what happened before the Big Bang, because we as Christians you sort of say that it's intelligent design and God created the universe and that sort of thing. So the atheists say, well, okay, who created God? So it all comes down to time and the concept of time, and so I thought I'd talk about that today because it's quite interesting. And I was watching one of the programs of Brian Cox. He was talking about black holes, and I think this is where you sort of the entryway to understanding all this happens. Because the strange thing about black holes is that time actually stops in black holes. And then I was thinking, well, hang on a minute, time stops with black holes, but during the Big Bang is that was basically the first black hole, wasn't it? Because all matter was condensed into a very small space. And I've got this little Starbucks thing. This will represent the black hole. So you can imagine the whole universe crunched up into this small space here, and everything that ever existed or ever will exist will be in this space. And in this space, time doesn't occur at all. And you sort of think, well, hey, that's crazy. Time, and it's one of the things that it's very hard to get your head around because you're so used to counting out time, like in 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and you've got to get back to Einstein with time dilation. How in very very high gravitational fields or very high speed motion, you get time dilation. And one of the most famous ones was this thought experiment where you send your brother off at 99.5% the speed of light, send him half a light year down the road there, bring him back, and he's aged 10 years and you've only aged 1 year. So for him, time ran more slowly than you. He only aged 1 year. You aged 10 years. So it's very interesting concept. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, well, hang on a minute. What if time is dependent on space? So when you've got no space, as in a black hole, time slows down and stops. Whereas if time, for me, I see it as time is an illusion. Basically, as space expands, it creates time. Because you imagine in this small space here, at the speed of light, how much time does it take to go from one side to the other? If this is the whole universe, it'd be like infinitesimally small amount of time. So time cannot exist without space. And during the Big Bang, as when it expands, you get the inflation period. We won't go into that. We'll just call it an expansion. And as the universe expands, time is created. Because if you're in during the Big Bang time, you're looking out into space. You'd actually see everything that ever existed, because all space and time is within this little piece of material in the black hole. So this is the way I see it. So when they say, well, what happened before the Big Bang? It's like, well, time didn't exist before the Big Bang. This is when time started. Time was standing still, and the expansion of space created time. So try. I know it's a bit hard. It just came into my head, and I was thinking I need to do a video on this, even though I'm not going to do any heaps of physics videos because there's so many great channels out there with graphics, and I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on graphics just to do some silly videos. But and I'm not a qualified physicist. I've done physics. I've done physics at university and studied Einstein, that sort of thing. But not haven't got like a PhD or anything in this sort of field. But it was just an interesting thought that came into my head that maybe, and I think I read somewhere that some people are talking about this, where like a hologram of the black hole or something. So it made me think that if we're in the black hole, if we're in like the Big Bang here, and we're looking out into the universe now, we'd actually see everything that ever existed and will exist, if that makes sense. I know it's a mind bender, but it's all got to do with how black holes and gravitational fields affect time. So I sort of think of it like, I know back in the day they used to talk about light traveling through the ether, like this, like it's a bit hard to explain. The ether, it's almost like a soup, and so you could imagine that if you're swimming against a very thick liquid, you'd slow down. And that's how you can imagine gravity affects time. You're slowing down, and then as there's less resistance, time speeds up and speeds up and speeds up. So at the moment, if we're on Earth, we're in effects of gravity, so we're experiencing a slowdown of time. And I don't think that there's anywhere in the universe where time is actually traveling at the maximum rate. So now we've got a rate of time here. If you've got a clock, and if you put that clock on a black hole, we'll go away from this being the Big Bang now that it's a black hole. If you put the clock near a black hole, it slows down. As time slows down. So there we go, guys. I thought I'd do that video. Hope you like it. It's one of those subjects that interests me. Don't be too harsh on me. If you're a PhD physicist, don't mock me too much in the comment section. But I thought I'd put that out there because it does explain a few things and why God can exist, because he lives outside of time. If you know what I mean. Lives outside. If you created the Big Bang, lives outside of time. Try and get your head around that. So really, there was nothing. There was nothing. It's just time didn't exist before the Big Bang. It can't exist. Just like time doesn't exist with black holes. It's like it's stopped. Time stops inside a black hole. Light can't escape. Nothing can be measured because you need light to measure distances. So nothing exists in a black hole. Time-wise, it's just it stops. It's like frozen time. Okay, guys, we'll stop there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You know the drill. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.